So here's some pretty juicy information about Biden's presidential run that you're going to want to hear. President Barack Obama reportedly cautioned Joe Biden on his presidential run just before he declared his candidacy, according to a New York Times report. Quote, "You don't have to do this, Joe. You really don't," Obama told Biden earlier this year, according to a source at the Times. The two had spoken at least half a dozen times before Biden ultimately decided to run. Quote, "Obama took pains to cast his doubts about the campaign in personal terms," according to the Times article. In 2016, Obama quietly pressured Biden to sit out the race, partly because he thought Hillary Clinton had a better chance of building on his agenda, and partly because he did not think Biden was emotionally equipped to handle the race just after the 2015 death of his son, Beau Biden. Biden believed he could have beat President Donald Trump 4 years ago and told Obama he could never forgive himself if he turned down another shot at Trump. Oh my God. So they go on to say that in Obama's March meeting with Biden's campaign advisors, he said, quote, "Win or lose, they needed to make sure Mr. Biden did not embarrass himself or damage his legacy during the campaign," inside sources said. I'm a little unclear here. Does that mean, hey man, Joe needs to not embarrass himself and damage my legacy, me being Obama, or does he mean Joe needs to not embarrass himself or damage his own legacy? I don't know what that means, but either way, it shows this is all occurring to Obama. See, Obama, despite all of his flaws, he's a good politician. Like he knows, like he could see from a mile away what's happening with Biden right now, with all of his gaffes and his cognitive decline and his like terrible strategy. Obama's looking at that and going, "Oh my God." But one of Biden's only tricks at this point is to say, "But Obama likes me." Like that's all he's got. He'll get cornered on something like his terrible record when it comes to civil rights, for example, and how he opposed busing desegregation at one point. And he'll just be like, "Well, but Obama vetted me and he said I was good." And there's no doubt Obama's watching this at home going, "Oh, no. Oh, what have I done?" Shut up, Joe. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. So it's interesting that this is the case. Now, the other interesting part of this is, the whole thing is interesting, but why do you think this story was released? Let me explain something to you about politics. This didn't just fall out of the fucking sky. Like, whenever you see a story, the wheels were turning behind the scenes, and there was a movement to make that story actually get released. So for this one, you have a story about the former president of the United States warning the guy who's running, who's technically the front runner, warning about this guy going, "Hey man, listen, I don't think you want to do this. This might not be a good idea." Why is that story being released now? Answer: Barack Obama is now absolutely convinced Joe Biden will not be the nominee. And he is trying to protect his legacy. He's trying to say, "Who, bro, me? No, I was warning all along. I was like, Joe, I don't know about all this, dog. I don't know. You don't want to ruin your legacy. You don't want to embarrass yourself. Not sure this is the right time for you to do something like this." So, me? Bro, I was saying all along I was saying this, man. I was saying this all along. Y'all don't take down my legacy because of this dude fucking everything up. That's what's going on. The Obama team reached out to the New York Times, gave him a couple quotes, and let this story drop just to let everybody know, like, it's a wink and a nod that Barack Obama knows Joe Biden will not be the nominee. And hey man, even though he's not the nominee, don't take that out on me. Like, I'm separate from him. Like, that's the idea here. 100% that's the idea. It's hilarious that, Biden has said repeatedly, like, I told Barack, I don't even want your endorsement. The former president of the United States, you were the vice president. He's polling at 60% right now, and you don't want his endorsement? My ass cheeks. Obama told you, Joe, if you run, I'm not going to give you my endorsement. I'm going to stay out of it. And now Biden was trying to spin it like, I don't even want your endorsement, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I don't even want your endorsement. I don't even want that, bro. I don't even want no big deal, bro. I don't even want no big deal, bro. Some tidbits in this are beyond fascinating. The fact that apparently in 2016, Obama thought, hey, Hillary Clinton has a better chance of building on his agenda than Biden does. So Obama, at least at some point, thought like, oh, she might be better. She might have a better chance of winning the presidency against Donald Trump. She might have a better chance of winning an election. Obama thought that at one point. Now, later on, he flipped because there have been countless quotes about how he said she ran a soulless campaign and, nobody told her to use a private email server, all that stuff. But it's interesting that at one point, he thought Hillary had a better chance than Biden of winning an election. And that's funny because I'm on the record as saying the opposite. I thought Biden has a better chance of winning an election than Hillary does. But now so Obama was wrong, but I was also wrong when I said the opposite, because the reality is I think Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden it's the same. I think they're basically the same. One's female, one's male, but they're fundamentally the same in terms of their policies and also in terms of their strategy. Biden is proudly running on the strategy of, I'm not Bernie Sanders. All right, well, good luck with that, because he's captured the heart and soul of this party. Whether or not you acknowledge it, whether or not you realize it, totally irrelevant. He's the one with the movement. So, unbelievably fascinating. And I'm telling you, that is why this story is dropped now. This is Barack Obama saying, I warned him, man. I warned him. And he knows that he is, quote, embarrassing himself, Joe Biden is, and he is, quote, damaging his legacy during the campaign. He could have sailed off into the sunset, Joe Biden. And by the way, if he did that, there would have been a mythology that went along with him. And that mythology would have been, yeah, Uncle Joe, yeah. He, he's all right guy. Vice president under Barack Obama, some thought, including myself, in some ways he pushed Obama to the left on some issues. So we could have just went off into the sunset with this idea in people's minds that was a myth, but the idea of, he's kind of better than a regular corporate Democrat, Joe Biden is. But his ego just had to force him back out there. And this idea of I couldn't forgive myself if I didn't get another crack at Trump. As if this guy is the guy who's going to ride in on the white horse and save us, as opposed to what he actually is, which is the opposite, which is, oh my God, dude, if it's Joe Biden, we're Fucksville. Because Trump can definitely handle Joe Biden. Trump, what are you going to do? Sir him to death? Now, sir, this is not who we are. Come on. That's Biden's whole campaign. This is not who we are. Come on. That's his whole campaign. His launch video was, Nazis are bad. Well, thanks, Joe. But that's the lowest bar I've ever fucking heard in my entire life by far. Nazis are bad. Yeah, got it. That's like day 1, minute 1 of reality. Nazis are bad. What a low bar. I want you to know that I, for one, am against genocide. Oh, brave. Now, what are your thoughts on Medicare for All? Hate it. Obama knows it ain't gonna be Biden.